So welcome once again. Let us resume our study. This is our now the ninth session. We've done 8 sessions already, and we are on currently on page 24. 24. We've done there is a sort of a mark here. So we have done up to that, and we will continue after that. So Master says, use your conscience. Practice emotional non-stealing. Let's read the next sutra also. Stealing generates poverty karma. So there are two concepts here. One master is talked about, or let's say three concepts. First, he's saying use your conscience. So what is the conscience? Conscience, in one way of understanding the conscience is that this is the voice of the higher soul. Coming and telling us, don't do this is wrong, this is right, and so on. And then Master talks about emotional stealing or emotional non-stealing. So I'm sure most of us understand it. Still, for the sake of completeness, this is, for example, just as an example, where there are two friends, person A, person B, and then you are there. And what you do is, these are good friends. You create a rift between them. You create you spoil the relations between them, so that each of them becomes more friendly to you than they are to each other. That is a form of emotional stealing. Master talks about, winning over the spouse of someone else. So, for example, I win over the wife of someone else. Now, that is relationship stealing or emotional stealing, right? So this is something that Master says, don't do this. Listen to your conscience. It will tell you, no, 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 don't engage in this. It's actually very, very bad karma. Yeah. Actually, then Master says stealing generates poverty karma. All forms of stealing, whether material stealing, poverty stealing, material stealing, emotional stealing, mental stealing. I think later Master talks about, in the next sutra, Master talks about intellectual property stealing. So all of them lead to poverty karma. One way in which we sometimes, without being very aware of it, we are stealing is time. I give time to somebody. I say, okay, I will talk to you or I will meet you at 5 o'clock. And then I come at 5:30, maybe with a nice excuse. But what has happened? 30 minutes of that person I have wasted. And that is like stealing that person's time. So what is the karmic effect? Poverty in some form or the other. So, one simple lesson is, somehow in our Indian culture, not all of you may be in the Indian culture, but at least in the Indian culture, we are little, lax about being timely. So, this is one thing that I saw in Master's workshops. When Master used to conduct workshops, if the time was 10 o'clock, everybody was supposed to be in their seats by 9:45. And sharp 10 o'clock or couple of minutes before that, Master would enter, and 10 o'clock he would start. And if the workshop was till, say, 5:30, then he would teach at least till 5:30. So there was no wastage of time. He would never waste time himself. That is really something to, because earlier I had been, in some other spiritual schools, and there the Guruji, if the time given was 10 o'clock, he would not come before 12 o'clock. And if the session was for the whole day, he would only teach for 2 hours, and then, it was you go and sing bhajans and this and that. So with Master Choa, it was very different. Okay, intellectual property is as real as physical property. Intellectual property must be respected. Practice mental non-stealing. Do not buy pirated copies. Movies, music, software, and so on. Yeah, better to buy licenses. You see, sometimes the licenses are expensive, But instead of using pirated copies, find cheaper versions. You will find cheaper versions. So, because again, this is stealing. Another form of stealing will be stealing ideas or stealing credit. Someone else has done work, and then I step in at the last moment and I say, actually, he just did what I told him to do. I'm trying to steal the credit. You understand? So that is again something we want to avoid, because this is also a form of stealing. So one thing here is, whenever you are quoting somebody, whenever you have got the knowledge from someone else and you are passing it on to someone else, try to acknowledge it. You say, okay, this has come from person so and so, or from that book, or from that chapter, right? Okay, the last sutra on this page. When a person takes what does not belong to him, the energy goes down, the sizes of the chakras are reduced. So stealing means we have double penalty. One penalty is what? The karmic effect. That will come later. There is a lag time in karma. But immediately what is happening? The energy body is changing. That is what Master is telling us. The energy goes down, the sizes of the chakras are reduced. And this is very easy to experiment. Just find a friend or somebody in your family, scan their energy body, scan their chakras, and then ask them to steal something, as an experiment, or take something which doesn't belong to them. And then you see, immediately you can check the size of the chakras, the size of the energy body. Correct? It's an easy way to validate. So on the next page, the master has given an invocation. Invoking for God's blessings, you say, Lord God, thank you for blessing me with the virtue of generosity and non-stealing. Please bless me with a compassionate, generous heart that I may give and share to those in need. Thank you also for blessing my life with abundance, wealth, and riches, with deep gratitude and in full faith. You remember we talked about healthy self-interest? So that is reflected here. Master is saying, please help me become more generous. And then you know what the karmic effect is going to be, that you will have more abundance, wealth, and riches. So you're saying, okay, I need that so that I can take care of my responsibilities. And with that money, I can perhaps save time from other things and use it for spiritual progress. Yeah. So again, a reminder that, these, like in earlier on page 20, I think we had another such affirmation. So these affirmations, the practical value is that if we repeat them, they become a part of our subconscious. That energy goes into the energy of the chakras. You understand the word sanskar, so they our sanskars start getting modified. What that means then is that, like in the beginning, I'm trying to practice generosity consciously. You understand consciously? Consciously means it is I have to remember, acha, I have to be generous. मुझे generous होना है. But after, as you have practiced, you say the affirmations for some time, then you find that it happens automatically. Why? Because it has become a part of your subconscious. That is the value of these affirmations. But for that, you have to repeat. So what Master has said, each time you practice, do it 7 times. And then repeat for 2 months. ठीक है जी? And so you may think, okay, that affirmation was there. Master said 2 months, this one for 2 months. How do you do it? So one way is that if you are an arhatic practitioner, you can align it with your arhatic practice. The other way is just do it separately. I mean, chanting this for 7 times will hardly take 5 minutes. I don't even think it will take 5 minutes. Or maybe it will take 5 minutes. Just do it, mark time for it separately in the day and do it. Do it for 2 months. You want to do more than one at a time, you can do that. You want to do one at a time, do that. All right. Chale apan aage chale. Shall we move forward? We come to the next section. Accurate perception, correct expression. Now, this is a very, very, I mean, all virtues are important, but this virtue, if you are spiritually inclined or if you want your life to improve, is very, very, very important. Yeah. He says accurate perception. Sorry, just 1 second, please. So here, if you see, there is a small sutra. Do not look at the words, look at the essence behind the words. So this is a very timely warning. Master says too many times people take words literally. Now, the thing with that is that it can become very restrictive. You know, words, don't look at the words, look at the essence. Now, if you look for the essence, you will find that every teaching has many, many levels of that it can be understood at. Or how do you get to the essence? You get to the essence by, what in Hindi or Sanskrit is called manana. You contemplate, you think it over. उसके बारे में सोचिए बार बार, हर from different perspectives. Then you come to the essence, and there can be, that essence may have many, many levels at which it can be understood. Now, I remember the first time I went to Master's workshop, he talked about this saying from the Bible, something like it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of the needle than it is for a rich man to enter the gates of heaven. So, if you take it too literally, you may not actually make any sense out of it. Like, how can a camel pass through the eye of a needle? Needle is small, uska eye is even smaller. And then the camel, of course, there are no micro camels. Camels are huge. So, when you contemplate, uski upar aap sochenge, uski, you will try to inspect it from different points of views. You will see that it can be understood at many levels. Yeah. So, for example, our Indian culture is full of these ancient scriptures. You can take a mantra from any of them. And again, same thing. You think about it, you will find that it can be understood at many, many, many levels. Yeah. Shall we move forward? By the way, one other reason why this particular uh, virtue is very, very important is because this is the virtue we are practicing in these sessions. What are we trying to do? We are trying to study these books. Study means what? We are trying to improve our perception, and hopefully also we will also reflect in our life. So better expression. Correct? Okay, page 29, Sutra number 1. Often people do not see and remember what is obvious. What is the real meaning of a thing? Now, here, Master is giving a counterbalancing wisdom. In the last one, he said, don't take things literally. Now, in this one, he's telling us, also look at it literally. Don't miss the obvious meaning. Sometimes, we get caught up in looking for hidden complexities. We are always looking for subtext, reading between the lines. But at least make sure you read the lines. आप समझ रहे हैं? What जो सामने है, what is in front, understand that, and then go to the several depths that are hidden. Now, just to give a very simple example. So spirituality is huge, and there's this and that, and yeah, theosophy. You get into theosophy, it is very, very complicated, very complex. But all of spirituality can be condensed in the soul affirmation. Correct? Soul affirmation say you get the entire essence or the entire meaning. Now, sometimes we don't really give that much importance because it has been given to us too easily. It has given to us very simply. So instead, we want to know, okay, what are the 7 levels of consciousness and how is the world created? And there is, this and that, and this seed and that seed, and they, well, yeah, all right. All that is good, important, and relevant information, but not at the cost of ignoring the simple, obvious truth. I hope you are understanding. As I can see, we've gone past the time. So we'll end here. Please join me in a short prayer. Let's give thanks. Lord God, thank you. Master Chua, thank you. All the great ones, holy gurus, holy masters, saints, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you in full faith, gratitude, respect, and love. Thank you.